Hey, yeah, hi, good morning, guys. So, if you see that Power BI, so today what we'll do, first we are going to discuss with top interview questions which are frequently asked by many people in the many interviews. Okay, so even if I'm a, if if I'm going to conduct some interviews, means I'm going to ask these questions. It's mandatory. Okay, so what are the questions? I have already given the important questions to you. So we'll discuss in that what are the main important questions. Okay, so I have sent you all the Power BI important interview questions to you guys. So if you see that, what are those questions? Okay, so let me open that one of the Power BI interview questions. Okay, so I've already, like, if you come down, I've prepared this for Power BI interview questions. So here, if you see the last 26 questions which are repeatedly asked, so that is the one of the thing that I have created this one. So just go through this is a way, one of the important questions. So if you see here, last 22 26 questions I have given it, but first they will ask you in every interview, they are going to ask you these questions. Okay, so in every interview they are going to ask this question. Okay, so what are these questions? Let's see here. So it's not the batch. Okay, who is that? Here itself, right? So now we'll see here. These are the top questions we are going, frequently they are asking in the many entries. Okay, see first question. What is this? What are the components of Power BI? So what are the components? See here. What are the components in Power BI? So if you see, the Power BI components are, this is a desktop, right? You already knew that Power BI desktop. So what is the purpose of Power BI desktop? So to create a dashboard and design and develop the dashboard. So that is the main purpose of this dashboard, right? So that is the main purpose of the Power BI desktop is to design and develop the dashboards. Okay, that is one of the first interview question. They'll ask you what are the components of Power BI. So mainly you can say Power BI desktop, Power BI services, Power BI mobile, and so you can see Power BI Power Query editor, and so you can give the Power Pivot likewise. Okay, so they are good. So you can give this Power BI gateway. So what is the purpose of this? So if we connected with the external on-premises data sources, you want to create a connection between the on-premises to the cloud, then we can use, it's a bridge kind of thing. So it is going to be connect to the data source and our report Power BI, which we published into Power BI services. So that is a data is going to be in a connected between the on-premises data source to Power BI. So that is a use of the Power BI gateway. So we'll see that how to create the gateway. Okay, so there is a process we have to create the step by step. Okay, so what is Power BI mobile? Power BI mobile is, the clients wants to see the report in, sometimes their mobile phones are, based on their requirement, we are going to create some mobile sizes and iPad, iPhone. So those kind of sizes we can generate the reports. What about the Power BI services? Services is, you already know, once we develop the dashboards in the Power BI desktop, we used to publish the dashboards into services. Why we have to publish it? Because the customers has to see that. So we are going to publish that into Power BI services, and also we can give the security to this dashboard, because we are not allowing to see everybody, right? So we can give some security also in the services level. Okay, so mainly what are the components they will ask you? You can say Power BI desktop, Power BI services, Power BI mobile gateway, so embedded, and Power BI report server. What is this Power BI report server? Means this is online, it's a web-based Power BI services. Here itself, we are going to generate reports like as a PDF desktop. Okay, so that is a Power BI report server. So we are going to generate the Power BI reports on the server level. Okay, so that is how the Power BI report server. This tool, this is separate. Recruitment is also there. Some in case if you have like Power BI report server, if we add it, so we'll get it. And second question, what are the connection modes in Power BI? So where are these questions, sir? So if you see, this is a Power BI interview questions. I have given these notes. If you scroll down in the last, so these are all frequently asked questions which I have created. Okay, so most of the time they ask these questions. See here, whenever, like, if they are asking many of time, like now I have just pre-created this document for you, so you can go through these documents. Most repeated questions, these are the, okay, these are the most repeated asked questions. So last to 26 are very important. Okay, so if you see, the first question we have completed, and second question, what is that? What are the connection modes are available in the Power BI? You already know we have three types of connection modes. One is import mode, and second one is the direct query mode, third one is the live connection. And they will ask you one more connection. What is this composite model? Composite model is nothing but any combination of any two, either import mode or direct query. The combination of import mode and the combination of, like, these two, or the combination of live or import, the combination of live or direct. So these combination of any two, we can call this as a composite mode. Okay, that is a hybrid mode. Okay, so any combination of any two, we can call it as a composite mode. Okay, so that is one question, that this is a question. Okay, that is the modes. What are the modes? So what is the difference between these modes? Let's say, if you see here, the difference of these modes are, let's see. Okay, so where are these questions? You just make it enable editing and scroll down, make it as, and okay, these last to 26 questions are which are frequently asked repeated questions, and we'll see what are those. Okay, so now if you see, we are just talking about the connection mode. First one is the what are the components in Power BI. Second one is the what are the connection modes are available. Okay, if you see, this is the import mode, direct query mode, and live connection. And if some people, they'll ask you like, what is composite model? Composite model is nothing but combination of any two, combination of import mode and direct query, so that is called composite mode. Or like combination of direct query or live query, live connection. So that is a combination of these two, we can call it as a composite model. So what is exactly the import mode do? So actually the import mode, what it will do, after, in case if you connected with any kind of server, so it will ask you whether you want to connect with the direct or import mode. So it will ask you to give you, for example, if you give the server name like SQL server or database name, so we can see two options. You don't see the live connection mode. The live connection mode is nothing but if you are going to connect to the power part platforms, like let's say power platforms, SSIS, or like if you see some kind of power platforms here, Power BI semantic model, or data flows, or data bus. So these are analytical services. Okay, SSAS, this is analytical. So if you connect this SSAS or power platforms like these three, if you can see, that is a live connection by directly. See here what it is showing in the tooltip. Just observe here, create a live connection to semantic models in the Power BI. So that is a live connection. And if you come here now, you can see now they are offering like live connect or import mode. Both it is available, but still live connection is available here, right? So that live connection, where you can see it, the live connection you can see it on the live connection, you can see it on the power platforms. Means these are all the products of Microsoft company. So that is the reason they have directly given the live connection. See, create live connection somebody. So this is also from, you can, this is also in online we can connect. It means, for example, you published into Power BI services. In the Power BI services, we can create a data flows in the Microsoft Fabric. From there you can connect. Okay, so likewise we can see the live connection. So what is the difference of import and direct query? Let's say just before we just connected with SQL server. So this is the, here we can see two modes. One is import and direct query. So what is the difference between these two? Import mode, when we click on this import mode, and if you give the connection of SQL server and database, and if you click on it, so then you will see the tables here, and we have to select one table as a low, and we are going to load the table, right? So as similar to Excel file, let's say if you have an Excel, so we are going to see some tables inside it. So similarly we are going to see the some tables inside the database itself. So we are going to select the required tables and we can load it, right? So we are going to do in this way. So what will happen when you choose the import mode? So when we choose an import mode, so it will ask you to save you the file in our desktop. Okay, the import mode means it is going to be ask you to save the file. So we are going to save it. So right now I'm saving this file. So I'm saving this sample superstore data, let's say. For example, let's say I'm storing sample superstore data. So here where I'm storing it, it is storing in the desktop. Means what is the meaning of import means? So it will bring the data from a database to the desktop level. It will bring the data from the data sources. What are the data sources? Whether you may connect SQL server, you may connect Snowflake, or you may connect with the Teradata, or you may connect with any kind of external data sources. So when you connect there, and it whatever the table you have connected, all now it will not bring all the tables. So what it will bring, whatever the table you have connected, so that table. So for example, in SQL server we have orders table, so this orders table is going to be saved in our desktop here itself. Where we are storing it in the desktop, we are storing at the desktop in our local machine. So what is the meaning of this import means? The import is going to be bring the data from data source and save it into our local machine. So that is the main point you have to explain to the interviewer. Then second part, so if you are saving the data in our local machine into our desktop, so here it is there, right? So what will happen means it will support you see this is sample, right? So it is going to be, so it is going to be what it will bring, like it will support for all the DAX calculations. When you use the import mode, it will support for all the DAX calculations. So there are only in case if you are connected with the in case if you are connected with the direct query mode, so that will not support all the DAX calculations. Okay, I'm just explaining whatever the document which I have shared to you. That's a Power BI interview question. But if you scroll down at the last, so last 26 questions are very repeatedly asked interview questions, and the above one, don't neglect the above one. If there are something if you miss something in the 26, just you go above and just search for the remaining questions. Okay, but just focus on this 26 first. Okay, after that only just go the remaining question. So if you see the second question, so here we are talking about import mode and direct query mode. So what you have to tell, the import mode, it will take the snapshot of data from the data source and it will bring the data into Power BI desktop. Here in our local machine it will store it, and so it will support for all the DAX calculations. There is no limitation in DAX calculation, and it will improve the performance. Why? Because so if you are doing any kind of operation, like if you are creating any kind of visual, so it is going to be create and rapidly, like immediately it is going to be give the results. Why? Because it is not going direct, it is not every time, it is not querying on the database. So it is, we are disconnected with the, once you you bring the data from the data source to here, so the data is going to be query from the desktop, from the wherever the file you have stored, the data is going to be stored in our desktop. So that is the reason it is going to be perform very faster when compared to the direct query. So see the direct query, what will happen, the direct query, it is a direct relation, it is always the connection is going to be established, always the connection is going to be established between the data source to the Power BI desktop. So see here, this data stays in the source system only. We are not bringing the data, so the data is going to be stay in the source system, means databases, whatever the databases like SQL Server, Snowflake. So there itself we are. And Power BI queries at live reporting runtime useful for the real time very large data sets. Let's say for example, if you have some transactional data, for example there is a bank transaction. So for example in your account, for example today in bank you have 1,000 rupees are there, but you have withdrawn, you have withdrawn 300 rupees. So the transaction should be immediately happen, right? So otherwise it is going to be shows 1,000 rupees even if you withdraw 300 rupees. Let's say for example the transaction data means that's a real time data, the data should be immediately affect. So that's a transactional data. If you have some transactional processing or transactional dashboards you want to create, so then real-time dashboards you want to create, then we can use the direct query mode. What is the purpose of this direct query mode? For example, you want to create some real-time dashboard, or customer they will explain you, so I want a real-time dashboard. So means every time data, every second, like every second the data is going to be refreshed. Okay, the process, whenever you did some transaction, so the data is going to be updated. So that is how, like the direct query is a real-time data connection. So it will not bring data from the data source to the local. It will not bring, so it is going to be stay the at the source system only. So but whenever you have, let's say, you can face some kind of performance issues in directory, because every time when you perform some operations like this, whenever you perform some operation like this, or what will happen, so it is going to be every time it has to go to the data source level and it has to bring the data, so that will take lot of time, that you already knew, right? So that is the reason. So what will happen, so and that is going to be stored, that is going to be take lot of time. Okay, so that's how direct query is bit slower when compared to the import mode. Direct query is bit slower performance when compared to the import mode. So in case of the performance issues, which connection you have to use it, you have to use the import mode, not the direct query. Let's say for example they'll ask you in tricky way, so they'll ask you which tricky way means, for example, I have very large data, I have very large data and I want to connect to Power BI. Then which is the best connection? See here I have given very large data sets. We have to use this direct query, because this, sir, you are saying like the performance is slow, but here if you see this import mode, there are certain limitations are there for this import mode. So here up to 1 GB file. Okay, it will support for till up to 1 GB file size. Okay, so if beyond that 1 GB, it will not support the import mode. So if, for example, this 1 GB in the Pro mode connection, for example, if your license is a Power BI Pro, there are licensing modes. We have Power BI licensing modes, three types of Power BI: one Power BI Free, Power BI Pro, and Power BI Premium. So that you already know Power BI. So Premium, that is a PPU. Okay, so these three two. So in case if you have a Power BI Pro, so there is a 1 GB file. In case if it is a premium connection that you have and you are working on the premium connection, then it support till 10 GB file. Okay, it support for the 10 GB file data. Okay, for a premium connection. Okay, so it's based on the license. So here that is a file, and if you have very large data, so we have to connect with the direct query. So here it will be very, when compared to that, so here we can get the data and we can do, but what are limitations are there here? So the limitations are like, it will not support all DAX calculations, one thing. So in every interview they will ask you, you have to remember this thing. Okay, so if you are learn this these questions, so you will be, you can clear the interview as soon as possible, like. Okay, so this is very important. So it will not support for all the DAX calculations, it will not support the, it will support for limited DAX you can say in this way. So it will support limited DAX calculations. Okay, not all the DAX calculation it will also. So that is the limitation. What is the limit? They will ask you in this way, what is the limitations of this direct query? Limitation is that, what is the DAX? This is the limitation for this. And performance also you can say that. Okay, so and so here for the, what is the limitation for the import mode? So you can say the limitation, what is the limitation, sir? Here it supports still only 1 GB file, or in case of premium it will support for, that is a limitation you can say. Okay, so these things that you have to keep in mind in case of the direct query. Okay, direct or import mode. So it will take first, let me write this part in a generic format, so that if you have to explain in the generic format itself, so you should not define it like, in that way. So because they'll think you that, so is having like, textbook knowledge, not like that. You have to in a generic way, even if you know the definition, or even if you are very pro, you are remembering everything also, you have to say in a generic manner, so that they can able to easily understand it. So he's answering in a real time way, so it is not in a like, a textbook format likewise. Okay, so that is the reason you have to be every time, to be in a simple generic words. Okay, you have to use that. So what is it? So live import mode means So or it stores data, otherwise okay, it stores data into the local machine, in our local machine in our desktop. Okay, so in that way you have to explain. Okay, so it would be, what are the points you have to say? It is very faster when compared to direct query in case of performance issues, and it will support for all the DAX calculations. Okay, so those things you have to keep in mind. Okay, so and so what about this limitations? You have to remember this limitations. Okay, so these 3 points for each, you can explain this. Okay, so this is a data stays in the source system, Power BI queries, live report runtime. So what does the see here? Uh, this directly execute from the source level. Every time it will query on the source system. Okay. Okay. So performance wise, so which one is better? Okay, so which performance will faster? Import mode, that you have to keep in mind. So what about live connection? Live connection, you already know that. So we just connected, which is what is saying, which is similar to direct query mode, but dedicated to SSAS. Not only SSAS, like for power platforms, let's say power platforms. Okay, so that, or like tabular or multi-directional connections it will support. So that is live connection. Okay, SSAS means SQL Server Analytical Service. So where just now we have seen, right? So if you click over here, then this is a, see here what it is showing, live connect or import data from the SQL Server Analytical Services database. And if you see this semantic model, Power BI semantic model is create a live connection to semantic models in the Power BI services. So that's how, like, power platforms it is going to be support for the live connection. Okay, so that is a major first second question. And third question they'll come to here, what is the difference between calculated column and measure? So where we can create this calculated column and measure, you can create on a, the data pane, on the data pane, on the table name itself, a table name, you can right clicking over here, you can see two type of calculations here. One is new column or measure. Column or measure we can create it. And in another way where you can create it, or like you can see when you click on this table here itself, you can see here in the table tool is the ribbon is going to be show that table tool. Here we can see this new column, new table or new measure. Here it is showing the all the options you can create from it. But the here if you see this, what he is saying, what is a calculated column and measure? So as we discussed in the class, right now, see, we have discussed, right? So what is the calculated column? So when you created a calculated column, what will happen? So it is going to be create a new column, and it will show in the data model, it will show in a table. But when you created a measure, that will show in the table right now, so it will not show it. Okay, so when you create, let's say I'm creating a new column here. So new column I'm going to create base, let's say a profit ratio, like, I'm going to create a profit ratio. So what is the formula for profit ratio? Profit divided by sales, right? Profit divided by sales, that will give you the profit ratio. Into 100 we can perform it. See here, this is every row it is generated, and it is shown in the table here itself. Let's say I am going to create one more measure. So the measure is called, let's say for example, I'm going to create a new measure here. So in this measure, we are going to create one thing. What is that? Let's say um, same, like let's say profit ratio. If you want to create it, let's say, okay. profit ratio, we are going to create it sum of what is the total profit, where is that total profit, okay, divided by sum of total sales. So what is that sum of total sales? So we are creating this a measure, so already there, right? Okay, so we can write in this way, okay, measure, okay, that is a column, this is a measure. So now if you see here, this is not going to be generated as a column here. See here, do like we are not going to be, the measure is not going to be created in new column. So even like if you go to the data model, so in this data model you can see whatever the first we have created one column that is called so here in the data model it is showing, but if you see here the data profit ratio, we have created this column is going to be shown in this format in the icon, and measure is going to be shown here. And if you see in the table, we have created two things, one is profit ratio and profit ratio measure. So in the data table, if you see here, it is not created the ratio, it is only showing profit ratio measure, it is not showing here. So what is the meaning of it? So the meaning of it is like calculated columns will create a row by row operation. What it will do? It will create a row by row operation, and it will store the data in a data model. It will store the data in a particular data table, and data model it will store it, means it will physically create and it will occupy some memory. It will occupy some memory and it will generate row by row. So this calculated columns will work on the row context based. So that is how we have written here. Okay, so if you so created in the data model, evaluated during the data refresh, and stored in the table. Okay, so they are static unless the data itself changed, so useful in the row level calculation. So mainly they have in a highlighted in a high level they directly written it. So if you want to make it in a generic format, so we can create, so row by row format. Okay, so works on row context. So and what you can do, so in this way, either in this you can explain complete this one, or like in a generic format you can use it in this way. Okay, so then data model, and it occupies some memory. Okay, okay, and so if you see whenever it is occupying some memory, what will happen? So every time if you are running it on a row by row, so it will take lot of time, right? So each and every time it has to calculate it, it has to generate one value. But if you see in a measure, it will directly quickly calculate that value, that overall value it will generate. So if you see how the measure is going to be work, measure is going to be calculate overall column level or overall table level, right? Only single value it will generate. But if you see the calculated column for this row, let's say profit ratio, what is the formula? Profit divided by sum. So first column it will take it first row. So in this first row, 9.33 divided by 19, so 0.48. So 9.29 divided by 19. So every time it has to calculate in the row by row manner, so it will take lot of time, so it will degrade the performance. What it will do, it will, in case of if you want to improve the performance, you have to use a measure, not a calculated column. So that is the reason. So it will whenever we want to improve performance, we have to use a measure, not a calculated column. Okay, so because why? Because so that is how it degrade the performance. So these 4 points you have to explain to the interviewer. Okay, then if you come to the measure, so what is a measure? So measures you already know, just we have seen. So these measures are aggregated, so it will create a aggregation, right? So how the aggregation, like when you are creating a measure, you have to either use a sum or average or minimum or maximum. So when I'm writing calculation, you just observe, right? I have used sum of, say, sum of profit divided by sum of sales, means it performs aggregations. Okay, it it will improve the performance. Okay, before that I'm going to write one more point here. So it is not working. It will not store data in a data table. Okay, so it performs aggregation. So, and one more thing, basis of filter context. Okay, what does filter context means? So whatever the slicer or whatever the visual level filter, if you apply it, so that is going to be applied based on that value. Okay, for example, let's say you have this visualization. Okay, you have this is my visualization category. Let's say I am applying let's say this category filter. In the filter category there is something here, so I'm just applying something furniture. So now if you see this value, the whole furniture is going to be calculated in this way. Okay, so the it is going to be calculated on the only furniture. It's a sum of all, means only at the furniture level it is working on. Let's say if you are if selecting office supply, so the measure is going to be calculated here. So the one more thing I just forgot it. So here it executes at a runtime. Okay, so runtime means whenever you are drag and dropping, so whenever you are using that particular calculation, then only it will execute. Okay, it will not directly. So what about calculated column? Calculated column, even if you, whenever you connect it to the data source and when you do the refresh, it will automatically load along with all these columns. Along with all these columns, it will load from a, whenever you do refresh, so data going to refresh from data source, right? So from there it is going to be directly refresh. Okay, so at that time, but the measures are going to be executed at the runtime. What is the meaning of runtime? So whenever you are using it, let's say I'm using this one right now, so this is not using it. So when I'm using it here, so now it is executed, so at the runtime it is executing. Okay, so that is, you have to keep in mind what is a calculated column and measure. So these are very important interview question. Just keep in mind that. And next question, if you see, they'll ask you the difference between sum and SUMX. So we have already seen, like sum X is a row context, sum is it works on a filter context. So what is the meaning of it? So let's say sum X is nothing but it's a iteration. Iteration is nothing but row by row operation. Row by row operation. Let's say here I have given example. See here, there I have two columns like quantity and price. So I want to get the sales, means I have to join this, I have to multiply the quantity into price, then only I will get the sales, right? So I want to perform for each row, I want to perform this each row. That is the reason I have to use the SUMX. So I can perform SUMX of this quantity into price. Okay, so with that, so what is the SUMX means? See here, an iterator that evaluates a custom expression for each row and sums the results. Okay, for example, sum of, here they have given clearly, so sum of x sales quantity into sales price. So ideally for row wise computation, so it will calculate on the row basis. So what is this? So it is going to be calculated row by row, and it is what is this one? See, it is simply saying that it adds up all the values in a single column. If you see here, what it is going to be do, let's say we have here this one. So if you want to see the total sales, so you can use sum of sales, so it will sum up all the value and it will give one value. So that is a sum. SUMX, what is, say for example, you want to perform multiplication for these two columns and you want to create a new column, then sales column. So for example, you don't have a sales column, it's a unit price. Let's think of this unit price into quantity, that will give you the sales. Actually the formula, the basic formulas, right? So we have in the starting class we have seen the basic formulas, quantity into price equal to sales. We have seen those kind of simple formulas, right? Profit ratio, all. So we just go through it and go through the recordings. So now if you see, that's how, row by row, if you want to generate it, we can use the SUMX function. Simply what you can say, it is a row context, it works on the row context, it will generate row by row value. And it is a filter context, it will generate only single value on the column level or table level. On a column level or table level, it will generate one value. Okay, so that's how you have to keep in mind. But it is a iterator. See here, so every row it will generate. Okay, so row by row. Okay, so that you have to keep in mind. Okay, so those 2 points are single. It adds up all the values in a single column, sum of that term. So that's how that is a difference. And if you see next, what are the filters are available in the Power BI? So the filters, what are the filters? Filters are help to, filtering the required data by hiding some unwanted data. So filters are useful to help, so to get the amount of data in a particular field, so it will get subset of data from that field. Means, what is the meaning of subset? Let's say for example, we have this category right now in the visualization. So we have category in the visualization, so you have chosen, right now we choose this one. What we have chosen? We have chosen category. In that category we have chosen only office supply. So what's it doing? It's slicing the data to, on the category field we have mainly three field. In the three field, what we are selecting? We are selecting the required field. So what it is doing, it is taking subset of data, or it's slicing out the data. It is showing only required information. So that is how filtering. Or in another way, so the filters are used to filter out the data by hiding some unwanted data. So when I want only this, I don't want these two, so it hides these unwanted things and it will show the required information. So that's how you can explain to the. So we have, there is a filter, and how many filters are there? We can see this, the visual level filter, and second one is a page level filter, and third one is a report level filter. So we have already seen yesterday, right? So visual level filters means it will apply only to that particular visual, only to that particular. Let's say these are the two visuals I have. Okay, so let's say this is one visual, and we have one more visual like this. See, this is a line chart, so we can use, not the line chart, we can use any kind of any kind of donut chart, or we can, here you can show it with the region or something like that. See, region wise profit, let's say here, yeah. So let's say if you are applying something filter on this particular visual, see what it's showing, filters on this visual only. So filter on this visual only for this particular visual it is affecting, not this one. So recently, yesterday we just completed this class, just go through it. Okay, so that's the only specific visual. So what about page level filters? So page level filters, it will apply through all. See, we have two visuals are there. So if you want to see, there's a page here in the filter pane, we can see three options: filters on this visual, first option; filters on this page; filters on all pages, means of report level filters. So this is a visual level filters, page level filters, and this is all pages, means this one report, all pages, we can call it as a report. So that's, we can call it as a report level filters. So now this is, here for example, let's say I'm just dragging anything, something like let's say I have category something, ship mode is there. So I'm just dragging on this page, not on the specific visual, I'm dragging on this page. So if I'm doing something like this, see, it is applying for both right now. See here, that is a, what if this is a page level filter, means even if right now we have only two visuals, even if you have 10 visuals or 20 visuals, so that will apply for all the visuals in that. So that is a page level filter. What about the report level filter? Report level filters are nothing but, so it will apply all the pages inside that report. So report, we are going to call the report multiple pages, we can call it as one report. Let's say we have 10 reports like this, so then 10 pages like this, so we can call this all 10 pages into one report. So it will apply for all the pages, even if you apply for one, even one thing. So that's about the pages. So we have recently completed. So even if you want like say they'll ask you explain types of filters in Power BI. So they'll ask you explain types of filters in Power BI. So you can explain these three, and even you can explain the drill through filters. Okay, so drill through filters also you can explain it. So these are the levels of filters. Okay, so and that is about the types of filters. And what is the next question? What is the difference? These are very real-time interview questions. In every interview, only these questions they will ask you. You should be very clear about these questions. Even if you get any doubt, you can ask me. Just understand. Don't by heart it. Don't by heart the questions and answers. Just make your own answers. After understanding, just create your own answers by typing it or by writing on the notes, and just prepare on it. So that would be very easy to express. Interviews means you have to present your skills. Okay, so even if you practice, then you are going to get the, like, at the interview time you are not going to get the answers. So whenever you write it down and you do practice it, then only you will get it. So okay, so that is the reason. So these are very important, just to practice it. So what is the filters and what is the difference between filters and slicers? So the difference between filters and slicers is filters are very user friendly at developer level. Let's say here I have added this filter like this here. In this first page, if you see here, there is these are the filters I have added this in this filter page. So when you publish this dashboard into the services, so what will happen? So these filters are not going to be available to the uh, who to clients. So clients, we just publish this in invisible mode and we are going to publish it. So we are going to keep these filters into invisible mode and we are going to publish it. So the customers or clients are not going to be see this kind of. So then how they are going to be filter the data? Let's say they want to filter something like this. So they want to see only the second class ship modes they want to see. So where they can able to filter it out. So instead of using this ship mode, instead of using that filter, we are going to provide one option called slicer. What we are going to provide, we are going to provide one option called slicers. So in the slicers, they can able to select the values like this. Let's say shift mode, I'm just dragging and drop, so they can able to select from here. So the data is going to be filtering out, see here. So this is very user friendly. So even the slicers are very useful for the clients or customer level, and filters are useful for the developers. So in filters we can apply some more advanced filtering and conditions we can apply it. See here, we can apply advanced filtering, and with that we can apply the filter. But in the slicers we can do a small basic filters, that would be the selection based one. Okay, so what you have to say in the filters versus slicers. Filters are very useful for the developers. Slicers are very useful for the clients or customers. You have to explain. Okay, so this is the recorded sessions. You just go through it, because I'm just going fast because we don't have time. It's already 42 minutes. So that is the reason I'm going fast. I'll send the recording, just go back. Okay, go through it. Okay, so now if you see this, that is the main use of this. And there are, see, it is showing some see, filters are static. Yeah, I just see it is once you have added something like this, the filters are going to be static. So it is showing with the directly dynamic way the filter the data on pages. By using that we can use it. So okay, just first one point you just mentioned, that is more than enough. So that is filters are very useful for the developers, slicers are very useful for the clients. Okay, and so because when you publish it we cannot see this filters pane, so we can see only the slicers pane. That you can explain it, that is on the end. So if you see the seventh point, so what is the seventh question? Here, if you see the difference between all selected, all except. So what is the meaning of all? All means it will, see here. Let's say, for example, you have this page, and if you are writing one calculation using that all, so what will happen? It, without whatever the field that you have mentioned, even if you mention something like a category or something like this in the DAX all calculation, it will not consider all this. It will directly execute from overall table level. It will remove all filters. Even if there are any many filters also, it will apply overall table level. Even if you apply filters or slicers anything, so it will not consider all this. So it will, what it will do, it will remove all filters. It will remove all filters on table or column, and it will directly execute whatever the selected, see the overall table. And all selected means, see, it is only, sorry, skip. So it removes filters but keeps context filter. Means, for example, in this filter, so this is going to be, it removes the filters but keeps the context from the slicer and visual. So whatever you have selected from slicer or visual in the class, I have just explained you. So with that only it will keep it, but remaining things it is going to be removed, remove filters. Okay, remaining thing, it removes all filters. That is this point, you just remember it. Control B, and so it removes the filters but keep the context from slicer. So this part I have to keep that. And what about all except? All except means, see, except this field in the calculation, we are going to mention one column. For example, let's say if you want to see this all except of this table, that in that we are going to write one column that is called, let's say, for example, here this region. So if you use only region, comma sum of sales, if you use it, so what will happen? Except to region, it will remove all filters. Except to region, it will remove all the filters, and it is going to be applied. Okay, so that we have just created all selected all except recording. So that is there here. So just go through that recording, and if you have any questions, you just feel free to ask. Okay. Okay, if you have any questions, you can feel free to ask me here. Whereas that in the recordings, we have already I have named it. The naming convention is very clearly available. All selected, also those kind of thing. You just go through it. Okay, so that is a very important interview question. They will ask you in most of the interviews. And see, if you come to this Power Query Editor. So in the Power Query Editor, they will ask you what is the difference between merge and append. So the merge is nothing but which is similar to join. So we can join the multiple tables. See, merge is nothing but a join, but join the rows from two tables based on not only two tables. So but we can join yeah, here it from two tables based on the common column. So how it is going to be joined? That is going to be joined the based on a common column. If you don't have a common column, so it is not going to be joined. Okay, so that you have to keep in mind. So like it is similar to the SQL join. So what it is going to be, so here we have types of joins. So they'll ask you type of joins. What are the types of joins available? Let's say here we have one is inner join. Okay, just space. Okay, no problem. So left outer join. Okay, we have a right outer join. So I have explained you all the joins are very important in every interview. Not even SQL, not Tableau, not Power BI, generic, everywhere the joins are very important. So it's a full outer join. And we have two more joins extra in the Power BI. What are the Power BI and ALLSELECTED? So what are the two more extra? Left anti join. Okay, and number 6, this is a right anti join. So what is the meaning of it? So as you already know that inner join, what is the meaning of this inner join? Only matching records, it will give the output. Okay, so what about the left join? All records from left to table. Left to table means first to table. Okay, table 1. Okay, and plus matching records. Matching records means matching records from two tables. Matching records from the two tables itself. Otherwise I will write like this. All records from left to inner join, I will write like this. Okay, inner join output. So inner join output. So what is that? You just what is inner join output means? You have to think this is the output. Okay, matching records from here. I don't have space, so that is the reason I'm just writing in this way. Inner join output. So here left to join means all the records from left to table. Left to means all records. So similarly here we have same right join means all the records from the right table. Here it is a left table. Right join means it is all the records from the right table plus inner join. Okay, full outer join means all records from two tables. So what is this here? If you see matching records from two table అంటే ఏవైతే మ్యాచ్ అవుతాయో ఇక్కడ టేబుల్ 1 లో టేబుల్ 2 లో ఏవైతే మ్యాచ్ అవుతాయో ఆ రికార్డ్స్ మాత్రమే దట్ ఈస్ అవుట్పుట్ గా వస్తుంది అనమాట. దట్ ఈస్ ఇన్నర్ జాయిన్. ఇక్కడ చూడండి ఫుల్ అవుటర్ జాయిన్ అంటే ఆల్ రికార్డ్స్ దాంట్లో మ్యాచింగ్ ఉండని ఉండకపోయినా సో ఇట్ ఈస్ గోయింగ్ టు బి ఫెచ్ ఆల్ ద రికార్డ్స్ ఫ్రమ్ టూ టేబుల్స్. ఓకే, దట్ ఈస్ అ ఫుల్ అవుటర్ జాయిన్. వాట్ అబౌట్ లెఫ్ట్ యాంటీ జాయిన్? సో లెఫ్ట్ outer join చూసాం. లెఫ్ట్ యాంటీ జాయిన్ అంటే ఏంటి? లెఫ్ట్ యాంటీ జాయిన్ అంటే సో ఇట్ విల్ బ్రింగ్ ఓన్లీ unmatched records. So it will get only the records from left table which are not matched. So just understand it. So here if we what we are saying here, all the records from left table and matching records. See in this all records there is a matching. So means there is a matching values also there from two tables. Let's say you have to keep the two tables always in mind. Okay, joining in the sense it's always a two table you have to keep in mind. One left table is called first table and right table is called second table. In that way you have to keep that mind. So what I'm saying here, only unmatched records from left table. So in the left table or like right table there should be any kind of matching. So if there are not matching, those all comes under the left anti. In the right join also if they are not matching, so only unmatched records from right table or table 2. Okay, so that is the main meaning of this type of 6 join. So for merging, so what is the option of merging? Merging is nothing but joining the rows from two tables based on the common column. So joining the data like that. So what about so that is we have 6 different types of joins are available: inner join, left join, right join, and left anti-join, right anti-join. So these are the things. And if you go to the append, so what is this append? So append is nothing but it combines the rows from two or more tables with the same structure or similar to SQL union or. We have this SQL union, not union all. It is union, it's a union all. Okay, so that you have to keep in mind. So what is the difference between union and union all? Union is going to be append two tables with the unique records, but union all it is going to be keep the duplicates. So there are if there are same records also it will keep those two records. So here also same. So in append, so it is going to be to, for example, let's say we have already seen with the example, just go to the append and merge. We have very clearly explained, just go to the recording multiple times. If you are not understand with the one time, just watch two more times so that you will get understood. So the next time you don't need to see, it will directly remember in your mind. So what you have to do, just append means, so it append two tables, append, the terminology is very important. Appending, adding to the table 1 below table 2. Okay, so for example we have table 1 below table 2, it is going to be, but the condition should be the structure should be same. So what we are saying here, the same structure means the all the columns should be same. What is the meaning of the same structure? It combines rows with the same structure. Okay, so that you have to keep in mind. So for example you have table 1 and let's say you have table 1 plus the below will get the table 2. Condition, what is the condition here? For your understanding I'm just writing in this way. Okay, same columns and same data type, then only we can append two tables, table 1 below table 2. Likewise we can append single table we are going to make it. Okay, we are going to make it as a single table. Table 1 below table 2, that is going to be become a single table. Okay, so the conditions is, so 2 columns, so that is how the append is going to be work. Okay, so then if you come to this, so what is the use of Power Query editor? So what is the purpose of Power Query? So I've just explained, we have multiple times we have discussed the Power Query editor is for the data transformation. Means what is the transformation? Like splitting up the columns, remove the duplicates, remove the unwanted rows, remove the unwanted columns, and the renaming of the columns and splitting of the columns, pivoting. See here what we have did. So split, merging, and all kind of steps. So, steps we can perform, changing the data type, add the new column, calculated column, or conditional logic, create a relationship, create a join, or create appending. So all kind of stuff we can do it. So that is the main for data transform. You have to tell them, like, the purpose of this is to, like, for the data transformation. There is data preparation tool they use for data cleaning and transformation. Data cleaning and transformation. So connect to the data source, clean, transform, and shape the data. So remove the duplicates, remove the unnecessary columns, add the splitting of the data, renaming of the columns. Okay, use, make it as a first row, pivot or unpivot, split or merge the columns. So likewise, etc. we can do it. Okay, so you already knew that. Just go through it. Okay, second, next question. What is data model? See that is very important question. This is very important question. So what is a data model in Power BI? So explain star schema, and we have already clearly explained star schema and Snowflake schema in the recording. So in every interview they will ask you guys. So the data modeling involves the structuring your data for analysis. So so what you have to do, like, data modeling is nothing but combining two or more tables using relationships. Okay, so data modeling is nothing but combining two or more tables using the combining. How we are combining? So how we are joining it? We are creating a relationship. So the rest we can write. Creating a relationship between the tables using, in the tables relationships lo em untayi manaku cardinalities ఉంటాయి. We have already seen cardinalities అంటే there is a one to one, one to many to one, and many to many cardinalities. అంటే one to many, one to, what is the meaning of one to one? సో టేబుల్ 1 లో ఒక రికార్డు, టేబుల్ 2 లో ఇంకో రికార్డు, అది 1 to 1 అంటే ఒక్కొక్కటే రికార్డు ఉండాలి. ఇదే సేమ్ రికార్డు ఇక్కడ రెండు సార్లు ఉందనుకో అది 1 to many అవుతుంది. సో లెఫ్ట్ సైడ్ లో ఒకటే రికార్డు ఉంది, రైట్ సైడ్ లో 10 రికార్డ్స్ ఉన్నాయి, అది 1 to many అవుతుంది. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ రైట్ సైడ్ లో ఒకటే రికార్డ్ ఉంది, ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ రైట్ సైడ్ లో రాము అనే పేరు ఉంది, లెఫ్ట్ సైడ్ టేబుల్లో 10 సార్లు రాము అని వచ్చింది, సో అది మెనీ టు వన్ అవుతుంది. ఓకే, సో ఆ విధంగా యూ హ్యావ్ టు రిమెంబర్. సో వాట్ ఐఎమ్ సేయింగ్ హియర్ ఇన్ అ సింపుల్ వే, data modeling is nothing but creating a relationship between the tables using cardinalities. Okay, we are creating a relation. Okay, here we can see two types of modeling, we can see it. Okay, these two word terminal, whatever I am highlighting, the word that should be there in the answer, even if you are not answering this, but you can see what, if they ask you what is data modeling, you can say direct relationship cardinalities, then they can understand. Even if you are not framing the sentence, they can able to understand. So this is not a we are not going to be work on the voice process, like it's kind of technical things. Okay, so you have to explain in that. So yeah, we are create relationship cardinalities with cardinals, that's it. So you don't need to explain everything in a definition manner. Okay, so that you can say, that is the reason whatever things which I am highlighting, those are important things that you should be mentioned in the answer. Okay, so that is, what about star schema? A centralized fact table are surrounded by the multiple dimension table. So the simple schema, it's a flat structure but best performance. So it's a simple answer they have given. So it's very good answer. So you can see it. So the centralized, we have already know that we created simply We have seen multiple examples for star schema. Just go through the recording and just see star schema అంటే ఏంటి, ఒక ఫ్యాక్ట్ టేబుల్ ఉంటుంది. ఆ ఫ్యాక్ట్ టేబుల్ కి అన్ని డైమెన్షన్ టేబుల్ అటాచ్ అయి ఉంటాయి. దాన్నే స్టార్ స్కీమా అంటాం. సో డైమెన్షన్ టు డైమెన్షన్ టేబుల్ కనెక్షన్ మాత్రం ఉండదు. ఓన్లీ స్టార్ స్కీమాలో ఏముంటుంది, డైమెన్షన్ టు ఓన్లీ ఫ్యాక్ట్. ఓకే, మళ్ళీ ఇక్కడ ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఇంకొకటి డైమెన్షన్, ఇట్లా మల్టిపుల్ డైమెన్షన్ పైన టాప్, కానీ ఈ డైమెన్షన్ కు డైమెన్షన్ టేబుల్ అనే కనెక్షన్ మాత్రం ఉండదు. సో దట్ ఈస్ కాల్డ్ స్టార్ స్కీమా, సింపుల్ స్కీమా. డైమెన్షన్ ఫ్యాక్ట్ టేబుల్ ఏముంటాయి, డైమెన్షన్ టేబుల్లో ఏముంటాయి అని we have already seen those kind of examples, right? So that's how we. So what about snowflake schema? Dimension tables are further normalized into, like, normalized. What is the meaning of this normalized? Normalized means the larger tables are going to be split into a smaller tables. Why? What is the need of this normalization? To reduce the duplicates or to reduce the redundancy, we are going to use this normalization. So they'll ask the next question, what is normalization? Normalization is nothing but, so we are splitting the larger tables into smaller tables. What is the purpose of it? To reduce the duplicate, to reduce the redundancy, same meaning, same redundancy, or remove the duplicate. So that's how, like, we are going to use this kind of normalization. So here you don't need to mention all this, so just say that in this very simple manner. Fact table is connected to a dimension table, and the dimension table connected to a sub dimension table. Okay, so that is how the fact. So you just explain this, that is more than enough. So what is this? Here fact table is connected to a dimension table, and the dimension table is connected to a sub dimension table. For example, let's say, what is this? For example, we have one fact table is called transaction table, another table is called a address table. Okay, there is an address table. So in this address table, we don't have complete pin code or local address. We don't have that. So that the local address is having in another table. So what I'm going to, I cannot directly connect to the transaction table to sub dimension table. So I have to connect to through that dimension table only. So at that time we are going to use this kind of snowflake schema. But mostly we prefer, most of the time we use only star schema for the optimization, for data model optimization. Okay, you have to remember this one. So we should not use the snowflake schema. That you have. So here what I've just written here. So Power BI generally prefers star schema, not snowflake schema, for faster and DAX calculation. So how to create a relationship? Explain the relationship. So what is a relationship? Relationship links tables based on the common fields. So how this it is going to be? So for example, what this relationships is going to be link the two tables. Call two columns. Let's say in one table we have customer ID, in second table also we have customer ID. Then the two tables are going to be joined. Without common table, we cannot create. We cannot show that, we cannot create a cardinality. Common column should be there. Okay, I have already explained. Same relationships are nothing but same joins. Just keep in mind that the relationships are different, merging is different, it is not like that, but the joining, so if you see, merging is nothing but, so there are different types of left join, right join, that is come there, but in the relationships also the conditions are same. Whatever conditions for joining, what are the conditions for joining? Common column should be there. The common column, whatever the common column is there, the data type of that column should be same. Here also the relationship, when you creating a relationship, the common column should be there. Okay, and then only it will create a relationship, that you have to keep in mind. And in Power BI desktop, go to the model view and drag and drop the columns one table to another table and create a relationship. And there's a step is doing, what is, how to create, okay, steps in a okay. So define a cardinality. How we are going to define a cardinality? Like one to one, one to many, mostly. Okay, across a cross filter, here the direction is going to be two things we have to keep. One is we most of the time we have to use the single direction. So whenever you are having single direction, then the complexity is going to be less. Whenever you use two sides, two tables you want to filter, when you want to filter some data, so we can use this both. Yeah, so if you see here, what is it? We are at this question, relationship. So the relationships critically for connecting fact with the dimension. That's everybody knows, right? It's a point of view. So just create relationship as a one-to-one cardinality you just going to join this model. That thing you have to explain it. So then if you come down, so what is the 12th question? So what is DAX and what are the DAX components? So if you see this DAX, see DAX data analysis expression that everybody knows, right? So DAX data analytic expressions is a formula language. So it's a formula language in Power BI used to calculate. So they'll ask the one more question. So what is the difference between DAX and M language? They'll ask you whether I have written that point, gateway, distinct values, inactive relation, performance, best practice system, field parameter, bookmarks and buttons, calculate, summarize, related. We'll see this, okay. We'll see this last. So what is the difference actually? So what is the difference actually here? If you see here, where we use M language, where is the M language we use in Power Query editor? In the Power Query editor, that we are going to use that language, right? So for example, if you do any transformation like this, let's say where how to go to the Power Query editor, just go to the transform, or like in this way we can go here. Otherwise what you can do, like you can right clicking over here and go to the edit query, then it will bring you to the Power Query editor. In two ways we can go. So if you see, this is a editor. So here if you use, for example, let's say here I'm doing one step. Let's say I just filter it out some unwanted data, like I'm keeping only some this kind of stuff. So it will generate steps. So for every changes, whatever the changes that you are doing in Power Query Editor, so that is going to be do some kind of change. That is going to be generated steps that we have already seen, right? So let's say I'm just selecting, removing unwanted things like this, and I'm just see it will generate one more step like this. So already the filter, right? So the same step we have see if I want to keep something. So these are all transformations and node columns and kind of stuff we can do it. So let's say if you want to see this basic query how it is performing, so just right clicking on this and just go to the advanced editor. So if you see advanced editor, what it is showing this kind of M language. What is M language? It's a mashup language. Mashup language is a language we can see here. This is a M language. So whatever the options that you are performing in the GUI mode, graphical user interface mode, here whatever you are applying, so that is going to be the all steps are going to be written in M language. See here, just now we have filtered. What filtered? We have shift mode equal to first class and shift mode equal to second class. We have chosen only two. And second step in the city, the symbol, this symbol is nothing but city is not equal to symbol. Equal to symbol is this one. Not equal to symbol is two, is less than and greater than. This meaning is nothing but not equal to. Okay, so the city is not equal to see these things, the city names. Okay, so we are not using this. I don't want these city share. It is filtering. So whatever the steps that you are performing on the GUI manner, so it is going to be generate one more. So let's say, for example, if we create one more thing, let's say I'm just making it as changing the data type. Let's say I'm changing this to something else like which one? Okay, so it's already 1, 2, 3. ABC 1, 2, 3 will create it. Where is that? Um, So let's say we have the customer name. Where is the customer name? Class. Category. I don't have customer name. Country. Here we are. Let's say I'm just splitting these two columns. Like I'm doing some kind of splitting by delimiter. So so you can use this one. advanced, like I want to create two, one is first and second, so it is created. This is splitting column. So now if you right click over here, go to the advanced editor, now you can see there's an option called like split of the data type. See here, we just customer name is split into based on this delimiter. See, it automatically generates in the language. So whatever you are performing some kind of operations in GUI, graphical user interface, or like user interface mode, so in this user interface mode, it is going to be perform any kind of operation that is going to be generated step by step, and it is going to be written in the advanced editor. So here also we can, if you click on here advanced editor, or you can right clicking over here and you can see this advanced editor or editing steps, or here also from you can use the advanced editor. Okay, from here. So that's how we can see this kind of steps. Okay, here so here what I'm writing, M language is a mashup language. Mashup language used in Power Query, used by Power Query. Okay, so what about DAX? DAX, it's a data analysis expressions. Power BI desktop. DAX అనేది ఎక్కడ రాస్తాం, ఓన్లీ పవర్ బిఐ డెస్క్టాప్ లోనే రాస్తాం. మ్యాషప్ లాంగ్వేజ్ ఇది ఎక్కడ ఓన్లీ పవర్ క్వెరీ ఎడిటర్ లోనే ఉంటుంది. Okay, so that is a major difference, so you have to keep in mind. So we are at the uh, yeah, so the time 1 hour. Okay, yeah. So here if you see this DAX, what are the DAX components? So we have DAX components, we have different functions and operators. So these things, operators and context you have to explain first. And context. So DAX is it's a context to, like we have, one is filter context, second one is a pro context. Here we can use it in the DAX components. You can explain the components of functions. We can write inside that sum, average, man, calculate functions, all the functions we can use it, all the functions we have, string, text, all functions we can, operator, plus, minus, or like multiply, division, all this operator we can use it, and values also we can use. So these are columns construct. So but you can at least explain what are the components of DAX, means what we can use inside the DAX. We can write all the inside the DAX is context, row context, or filter context, or operators, or functions. You can explain these things. Okay, so and write DAX for year over year group. So whenever you have to know the definition of year over year. So what is the meaning of year over year? Means first you have to calculate the current year, then you have to calculate the previous year, then you have to show the difference of this 2 years. So the difference of years, 2 years it will show it. And if you want to show that percentage of year over year growth, then you have to create a divide function, divide of current year. See, this is not the correct, was it okay? So this will give you the current year sales, and then previous year sales, and you have to write the calculate, or this is the previous year, this no need to write this one. This is the PY sales. Okay, okay, don't get confused. Okay, so that is done. Okay, and year over year. What is the formula for year over year? Same. So this is the year over. So for example, you want to calculate the year over year percentage. So what is the formula for it? So current year minus previous year divided by previous year. Okay, so that is into 100. You can calculate into 100. Okay, so this is a formula. So for this you can write how you are going to write it. So this thing you can write it in the by using the divide function. How you are going to write that function? Equal to divide of current year sales minus previous year sales, comma previous year. Okay, so this is going to be a formula for the year over year growth. Okay, so this is in a this is, you can use this formula also, you can use this formula, but here we can do some kind of some, we are using divide. So this is comma, this is a dividend, so sorry, this is a denominator and this is the numerator. So numerator is numerator divided by denominator, divide function into 100, so that will give the good. So this is the formula for year over year. Okay, just try to practice it, because in every interview they'll ask this question. Okay, so just go to it, and this calculate sales for this period of same period. Okay, so we'll delete this one. And what about RLS? RLS, you already knew that. So row level security, we have to see that row level security. Okay, we'll see in the real time. Okay, so what about this row level security? Row level security means restrict the data access for users. Means, for example, we have published the report into Tableau server. So everyone can able to see after publishing the report into the Power BI services. Like who are open the Power BI services. Where is the Power BI services? App powerbi.com. So that is the services. Okay, so if you go to this is services. Okay, from here you can log in it, so you can see it. Okay, so from there we everybody able to see it. So instead of showing to everybody, so that is some other people, so who are unknown people, who are not relevant to our team, so they can able to filter out some data and they do some kind of modification, so that make align to all the teammates. So that is the reason. So and the data may not be secured one. So that is the reason. So to make the data is very security, we are going to create a row level security. Row means each and every row we are going to, for every user we can give the security. For example, we have a team, so we can give the team name and we can give the access, so that when you log in it, so you only see the trade data. So when some other team people will join it, so only their data only they can able to see it. So that kind of security we are going to provide to our our data. Okay, so that is a row level security. So you define the rows in the data model filter, for example, row based logged user and okay, so and so so one is static row level security, and second one is the dynamic row level security. So what is the meaning of static row level security? So here we are going to use the manage role option. Okay, there is an option of manage role. So where is that manage role? So if you click over here, there is in the, we can see there is a manage role option in the modeling. So here we can write some kind of roles. See this, we can define the roles here. In this DAX we can write something here, or here we can write it and we can filter the data. So we can apply this is a manage role. So with this, see here what it's showing here, manage security rules. Here it is manage roles. So if you open it, manage security rules, we can create, see what it's showing, create new security roles and use filters to define row level data restrictions. So that this is a static way of it. So here we can use manage roles. For example, region equal to east means only east region people can able to see it. So likewise we can give the security and we can drag it into the filters. Okay, so this will apply into the filters. So this is the static level means, so this is static level. What about the dynamic level? So we can use username and user principal name. So we can use this username and user, this is the user defined functions. What is this? So one is username. Username means, so for example, if I'm working in one company, so I should have one domain name or username. So we can call the domain name or username. So otherwise, second thing, I should have an email. So that is comes under the user principal name. So I can give the security based on the mail ID. So if I'm going to give the provide the security based on the mail ID, that comes under the user principal name. So for example, user principal name equal to mail ID. So for each and every row we can restrict them. So username equal to maybe like domain ID. So here we can use this functions and we can write the dynamic logical calculations. With that we can apply it in dynamic way. Okay, by using, so we can make it as dynamic. So that's how we can create the roles. So what is a gateway? Just before I've told you, the gateway is a bridge between the on-premises data source and the Power BI services. Let's say what is the meaning of it exactly. Let's understand this one. So for example, you have connected you have created a report, so you just connected to one databases that is in the SQL server. So SQL server you have connected and you just publish this data. You are used import mode or something, any mode, or direct query mode. So let's say you just publish that report into Power BI services. So the data is come into the Power BI services. So the data published here in the web page, right? So how the data is going to be refreshed? So for example, you want to create a refresh. Let's say you want to create a refresh daily, means you don't daily go to the, you don't daily open it, the daily refresh it, right? So it will take a lot of time, it is a time waste thing. So what you have to do, you have to create automatic refresh. So how to create the automatic schedule refresh? So the automatic schedule refresh we can create by creating a gateway. So gateway, what it will do actually, so it will create a connection between the Power BI, this service, Power BI services to our database connection. So it will directly link between the data source to the Power BI services, and so that we can create schedule here. So every day whenever the data updated in the database, it will directly automatic based on our timings. Let's say I just want to update every day at 12:30, or like in the morning 4 a.m. So or like we use mostly the US timings, like 4 p.m. EST, or like 5 a.m. EST. So 4 a.m. EST likewise. So in that way we are going to create a relation. What is the main purpose of the gateway? It will create a bridge connection between the data source data source to cloud here. What is the purpose of it, sir? What is the purpose of creating it? To create schedule refresh. Okay, to create schedule refresh and to enable the data active. Okay, so in that case we are going to use this kind of refresh. Okay, that is a gateway. So what is saying here, a bridge between the on-premises data and Power BI service, and enable the schedule refresh for live queries. So that is the main thing. So we have types of, say this, what is gateway, difference between person. So we have mainly like personal gateway and standard gateway. What is the meaning of this? Very important. So in every interview they will actually, the people are forgot to ask these questions, like nowadays they are like why these very important things, but so these two things are very important. So what is the meaning? What is it? How many types of gateways they will ask you? One is personal mode gateway and standard gateway, standard mode. So the personal mode is nothing but it installed by individual users and try to their account and not shared. So what is the meaning of it? So when you create a personal gateway, so that is going to be specific to that particular report or particular dashboard. Okay, so this is not going to be shared to the colleagues. So for example, if you created a standard gateway, so that is installed on server, can be shared by multiple users, means can be used by colleagues or supporting enterprise level. So for example, if I created one data source, the data source అంటే directly sometimes ఏంటంటే మన database లో ఒక 10 టేబుల్స్ ఉన్నాయనుకో, మనం ఒక రిపోర్ట్ క్రియేట్ చేసినాం, ఆ టేబుల్స్లో 10 టేబుల్స్లో నాకు కావాల్సిన కాలమ్స్ తీసుకొని దాంట్లో కొన్ని లాజిక్ మ్యాక్సిమం డేట్ సంథింగ్ ఏదో లాజికల్ అప్లై చేసి దాన్ని చాలా క్లీన్ చేసి ట్రాన్స్ఫార్మ్ చేసి ఒక ఫైనైట్ డేటా తయారు చేసిన ఆ 10 టేబుల్ నుంచి. ఆ టేబుల్కి కనెక్ట్ అయ్యి నేను రిపోర్ట్ చేసిన. సో అండ్ దీన్ని పబ్లిష్ చేసినప్పుడు అదేంది డేటా సోర్స్ ప్లస్ రిపోర్ట్ రెండు పబ్లిష్ అవుతాయి సర్వర్లో, రైట్? డేటా సోర్స్ పబ్లిష్ అవుతుంది, అది పబ్లిష్ అవుతుంది. సో ఇప్పుడు నేను ఏం చేస్తా అంటే దానికి ఒక గేట్వే క్రియేట్ చేసిన ఆల్రెడీ. సో ఇప్పుడు మళ్ళీ ఇంకో పర్సన్కి ఒక రిక్వైర్మెంట్ వచ్చింది, అది సేమ్ 10 టేబుల్స్లో నుంచి సేమ్ లాజిక్ యూజ్ చేయాలి, బట్ రిపోర్ట్ కాలమ్స్ వేరే యూజ్ చేయాలి. బట్ మొత్తం ఎవ్రీథింగ్ డేటా సోర్స్, డేటా క్లీనింగ్, ఎవ్రీథింగ్ అనేది సేమ్, ఎవ్రీథింగ్ సేమ్. So I can use the same gateway, so that in that case I can choose the standard mode gateway. So we most of the time we can use standard mode gateway. Okay, we are not going to in organization, in the organization, because so in case if you want to use the same data source and I want to create a new report, I can use the existing gateways instead of creating the other instead of creating a new gateway. Okay, so that is the reason we have two types of gateways. One is personal mode and second one is a standard. So the personal mode is only individual for that particular report or a particular dashboard. That is a personal gateway. And standard gateway is by using this we can create multiple dashboard, multiple persons or multiple people can share this, can able to access this data and data source and can create the dashboard. So that is a two things, that two types of gateways you have to keep in mind. ఫస్ట్ గేట్వే ఎందుకు క్రియేట్ చేస్తాం, గేట్వే ఎందుకు క్రియేట్ చేస్తాం అంటే డేటాబేస్ నుంచి మన పవర్ బేస్ సర్వర్లో ఉన్న రిపోర్ట్కి కనెక్షన్ కోసం. కనెక్షన్ ఎందుకు కావాలి అంటే మనం షెడ్యూల్స్ క్రియేట్ చేస్తే డేటాబేస్లో ఎప్పుడైనా డేటా అప్డేట్ అయితే ఆ డేటా మన పవర్ బే రిపోర్ట్లో కూడా అప్డేట్ అవ్వాలి. అప్డేట్ అవ్వాలంటే మనము షెడ్యూల్స్ క్రియేట్ చేస్తాం, షెడ్యూల్ ప్రిపరేషన్. సో అట్లా చేయడం వల్ల అక్కడ అప్డేట్ అయిన నెంబర్ని దాన్ని పిక్ చేసుకొని ఇక్కడ అప్డేట్ అయిపోతుంది అనమాట. సో దట్ ఈస్ అ గేట్వే పర్పస్. ఇట్ ఈస్ అ బ్రిడ్జ్ అని చెప్పుకోవచ్చు. ఓకే, సెకండ్ థింగ్, హౌ మెనీ టైప్స్ ఆఫ్ గేట్వేస్ వీ హ్యావ్? Mainly used two types of gateway. One is personal gateway, second one is standard mode gateway. The standard mode gateway we most of the time used for internal colleagues, we can share it, and for to same if you want to use the existing data source, we can use the standard gateway. So if you create a personal gateway that cannot be shared, that is only restricted to that particular report or dashboard, okay, or particular for that user. Okay, so that is how the things. And we have 16. Okay. Okay, so what about the difference between distinct and values? We have already discussed in the classroom. So mainly what I've so whatever the important things only I have discussed, and very repeatedly used functions only I have explained you in the all DAX. So the remaining DAX are not important. The whatever the DAX which we have we have created in the class, only those DAX are going to be useful. See here, distinct returns a unique list of values from a column or table. Okay, values also similar to that, but it returns a blank rows if column is missing values. So values is often used to relationship and filter. So mainly even it can return a blank row. Okay, so it will not count the blanks. If you go to the data, if you go to our class notes, complete the step-by-step formulas. Even if you don't understand this, just open our classroom notes. What is that classroom notes? This one. Control F. Click on Control F. Distinct. Let's say. So if you see here we have data. So what is it? Counts unique values. It won't count repeated values. Okay. Then if you come down, the values also you can see there is a values. Where is that? If you see the values, it counts distinct values only. Okay, columns can also return a blank value. Okay, so unique values and also blank also it will see distinct, it returns distinct values. Okay, so it removes the blanks, so it will count the blanks. So it can also returns a blank value. That is a major difference. Just go through our notes. If there are clear notes are available, just go through it. Okay, so that is the major difference of when you use the DAX and when you use the these functions in the DAX. Okay, how to create an inactive relationship? Let's say what is the meaning of inactive relationship? So let's say you have two tables that are connected. Okay, and you want to that are connected with the two tables, and you want to connect it a extra relation, and when you create that, it will show there is already relation created. So I'm going to create an inactive relation. So first here it is showing how to create an active relation. So drag and create a relationship, and in the relationship dialog uncheck the active means which is going to be inactive. So what is the purpose of inactive? So inactive relationship can be activated by this. What it is saying means how to activate is he is saying, but he is not saying the what's the actual purpose. So for example, whenever you have when two tables are connected which are in active relationship, and still you want to get some more information to connect to another table that is showing with the inactive, so you can use that inactive relationship. But to work that relationship, inactive relationship, what you have to do, you have to use the DAX calculation called user relationship. Then only it will work. Otherwise, it is not going to be work. So whenever you have three or four more tables and you connected two tables with active connection, active relationship, and you have another relation you have created that is inactive relationship, to work that relationship very accurate manner, what you have to do, you have to create a DAX calculation by using the user relationship function. User relationship of that column name you have to give it. So this calculation is going to be most of the time we are going to use it in the date functions. Whenever you have many to many relation or like multiple date tables, at the time we can use this kind of inactive relationships. So this is very frequently, most of the time we in every interview, most of the 100% of in case if you have 10 interviews, in the 10 out of 10 interviews they'll ask this question: how to improve the Power BI performance of a Power BI report. So we are going to first optimize the data model. So the optimizer data model means the star schema for data modeling, and minimize the number of visuals per page. We can reduce that, and we can avoid the too many calculated columns. Prefer to create a measure, right? And we can use the import mode for a smaller data sets, and we can optimize the DAX by using efficient functions and minimize the nested operations, okay, nested iterators. And we can use the aggregate tables for large data sets, and we can load the limited data. So what is the meaning of this? So we can remove the unnecessary columns and remove the unnecessary rows. So here we can optimize the DAX is very important, like we can nested, so we can minimize the nested iterator. Means what is the nested iterators? So let's say we can avoid SUMX, rank x, x functions, average x. So likewise we can avoid all this kind of, so let's say like that, okay, just keep that. Okay, we can avoid these kind of iterators, okay. These points are more than enough. Star number, okay. Yeah, that is more than enough, okay. So and best practices to create a dashboard in every interview, mostly like how you are going to create. So first we use a clear not the colors. Understand the user requirement first, okay. Okay, then we can use the in orderly properly, we have to use the, we use clear and consistent color. These are comes later, okay. Keep it simple, avoid cluster, and use tool table to avoid for detailed view, and prioritize key KPIs and visuals that answer business questions, optimize performance, and test with the end user feedback and clarity. So Same, you can mention this, you can use the only star schema data model, you can use that points. Okay, okay, star and then report, and so this is these are the more than facts. See here, best practice అంటే ఫస్ట్ వాళ్ళ రిక్వైర్మెంట్ ఏందో అర్థం చేసుకోవాలి. సెకండ్ మనకు కావాల్సిన కాలమ్స్ మాత్రం తీసుకోవాలి. 10 సంవత్సరాల డేటా ఉంది, డేటా మన డేటాబేస్లో ఆ టేబుల్లో 10 సంవత్సరాల డేటా ఉంది. ఆ టేబుల్ మొత్తంలో 10 ఇయర్స్ డేటా అవసరం లేదు, బట్ కరెంట్ ఇయర్ అడుగుతున్నాడు. నువ్వేం చేయాలి? ఫిల్టర్ అవుట్ చేసుకోవాలి 9 ఇయర్స్ డేటా. మొత్తం 9 ఇయర్స్ డేటా ఇక్కడ పవర్ బిఐలో కనెక్ట్ చేసిన అనుకో, రిపోర్ట్ ఏమవుతుంది, చాలా స్లో అయిపోతుంది, ఆప్టిమైజ్ కాదు కదా. సో మనకు కావాల్సిన డేటానే మనం తీసుకురావాలి. 10 సంవత్సరాలు ఉంటే 10 సంవత్సరాలు లోడ్ చేయొద్దు. ఓకే, మనం ఫిల్టర్ అయ్యాలి. ఎక్కడ చేయాలి? క్వెరీస్, ఎస్క్యూఎల్ క్వెరీ రాయడము. ఇక్కడ ఎడిట్ క్వెరీ ఉంటుంది, ఎడిట్ క్వెరీలోకి వెళ్ళి ఇక్కడ ఎస్క్యూఎల్ క్వెరీ రాయొచ్చు. ఇప్పుడు టేబుల్ క్లిక్ చేసి ఇక్కడ ఎడిట్ క్వెరీ అని క్లిక్ చేస్తే మనకి ఇక్కడ ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఇక్కడ సోర్స్లో, ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఇప్పుడు సోర్స్ ఇక్కడ సెట్టింగ్ క్లిక్ చేసినాం అనుకో, ఇక్కడ మనకు ఇక్కడ క్వెరీ రాయడానికి ఇప్పుడు డేటా సోర్స్ కనెక్ట్ అయినా అనుకో ఎస్క్యూఎల్ సర్వర్, ఇక్కడికి వస్తుంది అనమాట ఎస్క్యూఎల్ క్వెరీ. ఇక్కడ రాయొచ్చు డైరెక్ట్గా, మనం ఇక్కడనే ఉంటుంది క్వెరీ రాయడానికి. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ సెలెక్ట్ స్టార్ ఫ్రమ్ టేబుల్ వేర్ ఇయర్ ఈక్వల్ టు 2024 లైక్ వైజ్ యూ కెన్ రైట్. అంటే ఒక్క సంవత్సరం మాత్రమే వీ కెన్ ఆప్టిమైజ్ ద డేటా అనమాట. సో వీ కెన్ యూస్ ద రిక్వైర్డ్ అమౌంట్ ఆఫ్ డేటాని లోడ్ చేసుకోవాలి, అన్వాంటెడ్ డేటాని అవాయిడ్ చేయాలి. సో దట్ ఈస్ ద బెస్ట్ ప్రాక్టీస్ టు just follow these steps. Okay, and simple steps that you already knew that, but okay, whatever the in the classroom what we have discussed, so those things only they'll ask you. So what is the field parameter? We have seen already. So the field parameter ఎందుకు యూజ్ చేస్తాము? For example, to pass the fields dynamically to see the data, we are going to use the field parameter. అంటే ఇట్లా ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ when user selected something like this, let's say ఇక్కడ మనకు చాలా ఫీల్డ్స్ ఉన్నాయి, సిటీ ఒకటి ఉంది, స్టేట్ ఉంది, రీజన్ ఒకటి ఉంది, కేటగిరీ ఒకటి ఉంది. సో ఇప్పుడు నేను కేటగిరీ సెలెక్ట్ చేసుకున్నాను అనుకో, నాకు ఇక్కడ విజువలైజేషన్ మొత్తం అన్ని కేటగిరీ వైస్ సేల్స్ చూపించాలి. when I selected subcategory, the visualization subcategory wise sales. So when I selected region, the data it should show region. So at a dynamic way it has to represent. So we can create a field parameter. So we can use this field parameters. Okay, just go it, and we have already created, just to go through the recordings. So what is the use of bookmarks and buttons? So yesterday itself we have discussed. So buttons and bookmarks, so to toggle the sheets or to so interactive elements to trigger the actions in the navigating between the pages or toggling visuals. This is very important. Okay, so navigating between pages, these points are important. You have to explain this buttons. So mainly to save the current state of report page, including filters, and they are used to create guided navigation, storytelling, and table. Mainly table views can use. Okay, so that things yesterday itself we have discussed, right? So we just go through it. What is the difference between calculate and calculate? It's a very important. In interviews they will ask you what is calculate. So calculate, it will modify the filter context and return the scalar. Scalar value means it's single value, it is like a measure. Scalar value means it's a single value, it is like a measure, it is going to be written. So what is the meaning of it? So what is a calculated table? So it returns a table. It's very important. It returns a new table. Okay, based on the filter formula, based on the filter context, it will create a new table. See here, useful for advanced table based manipulations in DAX. Okay, so what about it will do? It will filter based on the, let's say, what is this? Let's say for example here in this region, let's say I just want to filter based on something like region equal to east. Okay, or for example date equal to 2024. So when you are writing using that calculate formula, equal to calculate of the table name, cover region equal to east, and date equal to something. So this is going to be filter region equal to from east west or date equal to 2026. So then it is going to be filter on the date only. Then it will show the data based on that. It will give a single value, scalar value. What about the calculate? Let's say if I'm going to create this category, and if I'm going to create a new calculation or a new measure, new table, new table. Let's say we create there's a new table. If you go to that table calculation, click over here, and just if you see that there's a new table. When you write this calculate table function, and if you want to filter something like category equal to furniture, the furniture data is going to be generated. We have already created, so just go through the recording. So that is how, like, calculated and calculated. What is the main difference? So it returns a new table. Calculate function, it only modifies the filter context. just I've explained you. So here we have some region and we have some dates. If you want to see only the trade region equal to east or west, two regions you want to see, and you want to see the date also. So you want to see 2 years data, then we can, that is going to be modify that filter. So that's how that the filter calculate function is going to be filter on. So just that you already know that, just recollect it. And then difference between summarize and summarize column is a very very important summarize thing. So here if you see, what is a summary? So it's similarly like group by the specified column allows adding column. And what this is doing? So it is an advanced version of when compared to the summary. It is advanced, but summaries column is more dynamic. It is more dynamic when compared to summaries. See, it is similar to but more efficient and recommended. See here. So it automatically applies filter context and it optimized for performance. So which are going to be do the both same. What it will both do? Group by the data by specified column. Both are going to be do it same way, but it is going to be optimized and it applies the filter context. Okay, so it is adding a calculated column. So this will, what it will happen, so when you are adding a calculated column, it will degrade the performance. So we can use summarize columns rather than using a summarize. So what is the difference between calculate and filter function? See here is this filter function which is similar to calculate table. So calculate table, what it will does, it will also create a table. So here also it will create a table. See here, it returns a table of filtered rows. The same thing that we can, so often used inside calculate to specify custom filters. So we are going to pass this calculate to specify the custom filters we can use, but it returns a table, new table. What about calculate? Change the context just before we have seen. It modifies the filter context based on a single. It will give a single value or scalar value as well. Okay. So either they will ask the difference of calculator, calculate table, or calculate or filter. So both they will ask you. So both calculate table will return a new table based on the specific custom filter. Here also it will create the calculate only. It will change, modifies the filter context based on any kind of field and will give a scalar value, that is a single value. And what is the difference between related and related table function? So these are used to create a table. These are all table functions. What are the table functions? We have already seen filter function, related table function. These are all the table functions. If you go through the our notes just to see it, so we have seen only there are many table functions are there, but I've just written whatever the regular things that we have used in the real-time scenarios. Okay, so this related and related table function. So related fetch the values from the related table in a many to one relation, and if you see for this this should be a many to one relation that you have to keep in mind. But a related table, so it is going to be work, so it is mandatory to have the many to one relation. If you are not using this relation, this is not going to be get the value. But if you see related table, the relation is going to be one to many, or it will support for all the relationship one to many to one, many to, but we can prefer to use the one to many. But here apart from this, it will not support for the, so in case, so without using many to one, then how sir I want to use it? What is, we can use the lookup value function. So without using the many to one relationship, we can use the lookup value function. So the lookup value function also looks some value and it will fetch the data. So what is, it is similar to the VLOOKUP. So you can generic way how to explain. Okay, so that's how you can. Okay, so instead of using, so I just go through our notes, everything is there, every point is important. I did not created much 10-15,000 pages of notes. So I just used just regular notes. If you see, it is about 40 pages are there in our notes. So 40 pages notes is It's a very important, and only the important things only I have written. I have not written all the unnecessary things. This is very important, and uh, every word and whatever the things that we have written in the generic format you can easily understand. Okay, so that is the reason I've just written. I've not copied from the, you will get complete notes, guys. You don't need to go anywhere. So directly how to get that, like Power BI learn help, that learning course you can use it from Microsoft. So Power BI learning Microsoft, if you go here in the website official learner.microsoft.com, training and Power BI plot training for Power BI. So here you will get complete day, complete get started here, learn.microsoft.com. See, this is completely free. All points, everything you can start it, everything, recording videos also available, and you can start it, and you can complete notes is available. We can copy it and you can paste it, everything each step by step. And see, we can take all the notes, what all see here, services, desktop, everything. It's a completely free with example and images. But you see what are these the components for your desktop or query editor. So what is saying something like this. So next, building blocks of Power BI. So building blocks of creating a semantic model, creating a visual or a report. So it's completely free. All the notes are available. But if you are, you can copy it and you can paste it. You can make it as like a, see here unit wise they are providing the basic things. So it's a completely free. You can go through it. So you can directly learn. You don't need to go anywhere. So everything you can. So after completion of this unit, they will provide some exam, and they will give you some scores like this 200 XP. Likewise, they will give you some. So after that, like after this course, you just go to the next summary and you can write that to the finish and write. So you can go to the next topic likewise. So it's a completely free. Or like if you want to learn something, uh, you don't need this kind of example means you can directly go there and you can learn it. So give me a second. Back, back. See here. But here, browser learning paths, was training. So here, get starting with that from still navigate there. So beginner. So Power BI. So what is get Copilot? So get data in Power BI. So all the topics are available here. You can pick here from this. So already pick. So for data analyst, for subject you can. So I want course. Um, so you will get all the topics level, intermediate level, or you can change it for basic level or like intermediate level or advanced level. So you'll get everything, and you can, there is no need to go anyway. All the topics are going to be defined and explained clearly step by step. So there is a lot of notes, thousands of pages are available here. There are many examples also there. So it's completely free. Go through it and let copy it and paste it, try to understand it and create your own notes. Don't copy the entire notes and paste it. Just understand the notes. Don't make it as it is copy and paste. Just understand the context, whatever the definition that is it. Just convert into in your own native language, so that it will be in any case, like you want to just refer or you want to just recall it. So if you are going to copy it, so you have to study, you have to read entire statement. But if you understand it and you are converting it to your native, just you are going to keep it one word, so that if you recollect that one, so you, the all the topic, all the concept is going to become to your mind, and it is a sign, it is in subconscious mind, it automatically triggered. Okay, so that is how the reason is. You have to understand the copying data, but you have to don't paste everything. So whatever the required, just convert it, and how much useful, keep that down. So that is going to be remembered in a lifetime. Okay, so that's how like you have to do it. So don't copy and paste it. So now if you see here, then the difference between related and related table function. So instead of the, okay, so that's okay, related table that you already know it. What about how to solve the very important, this is very very important, how to resolve the many to many relation in case of the data modeling. So we are going to use a bridge table to resolve this ambiguity. So there are many duplicates will come across when you are using many to many. From means what is the meaning of many to many? టేబుల్ వన్లో ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఒక నేమ్ రాము అని ఉందనుకోండి, అది ఒక 10 15 20 టైమ్స్ 1000 టైమ్స్ వచ్చింది. ఇక్కడ కూడా ఈ టేబుల్ టూలో కూడా అట్లా రాము అనే ఒక 1000 టైమ్స్ వచ్చింది. సో ఇయర్ ఇక్కడ మల్టిపుల్ టైమ్స్ ఉంది, ఇక్కడ మల్టిపుల్ టైమ్స్ ఉంది. సో ఏ టేబుల్ ఎక్కడ కావాలో అనేది దానికి అంబిగ్యూటీ అంటే కన్ఫ్యూజన్. సో ఈ కన్ఫ్యూజన్ వల్ల విల్ గెట్ మోర్ నెంబర్ ఆఫ్ డూప్లికేట్స్ ఉన్నాయి కదా అక్కడ. సో to avoid this kind of ambiguity, we are going to convert this table, like if you have two tables right now, so we are going to create a new table, that is a reference table. So we are going to keep that only unique values in that table. That reference table లో ఏం చేస్తున్నాం, ఇక్కడ రెండు టేబుల్స్ ఉన్నాయి. ఈ రెండు టేబుల్స్ ని మనం ఏం చేస్తున్నాం, మూడు టేబుల్ గా డివైడ్ చేస్తున్నాం. ఎలా డివైడ్ చేస్తున్నాం, we are creating a new table, a table called a reference table. ఆ రెఫరెన్స్ టేబుల్లో అంటే ఇప్పుడు మనం ఏంటి ఇక్కడ జాయిన్ అనేది రిలేషన్షిప్ అనేది ఎలా వర్క్ అవుతుంది, ప్రైమరీకి ఫారెన్ కీ తోటి వర్క్ అవుతుంది. సో ప్రైమరీకి డైమెన్షన్ టేబుల్ ఉంటుంది, ఫారెన్ కీ అనేది ఫ్యాక్ట్ టేబుల్ ఉంటుంది. సో ఇక్కడ వీఆర్ గోయింగ్ టు క్రియేట్ వన్ మోర్ ఫ్యాక్ట్ టేబుల్, ఫ్యాక్ట్ టేబుల్ కాల్ దట్ ఈస్ అ రెఫరెన్స్ టేబుల్. ఓకే, ఆ దాంట్లో క్రియేట్ చేయడం వల్ల అప్పుడు ఏమవుతుందంటే ఇక్కడ డూప్లికేట్స్ ఎక్కువ పెట్టాం అనమాట, యూనిక్ వాల్యూస్ పెడతాం ఈ టేబుల్లో. సో అట్లా వీఆర్ గోయింగ్ టు డివైడ్ దిస్ మెనీ టు మెనీని. మనం ఈ మెనీ టు మెనీని ఎట్లా డివైడ్ చేస్తామంటే రెండు టేబుల్ని మూడు టేబుల్గా చేస్తాం. మూడు టేబుల్గా చేసి ఈ ఫస్ట్ టేబుల్ నుంచి సెకండ్ టేబుల్, థర్డ్ టేబుల్ మూడు ఉంటాయి. సో ఫస్ట్ టేబుల్ నుంచి ఈ టేబుల్, ఈ టేబుల్ నుంచి ఈ టేబుల్ కనెక్ట్ అయ్యేటప్పుడు వన్ టూ మెనీ ఇస్తాం. మళ్ళీ ఈ టేబుల్ నుంచి రెఫరెన్స్ టేబుల్ మధ్యలో ఉంది, ఈ రెఫరెన్స్ టేబుల్ నుంచి మళ్ళీ ఇక్కడ ఇంకో టేబుల్కి వన్ టూ మెనీ ఇస్తాం. సో ఇట్లా డివైడ్ చేస్తాం అన్నమాట. మెనీ టు మెనీని వీఆర్ గోయింగ్ టు డివైడ్ ఇన్ దిస్ వే. ఓకే, సో దట్ ఈస్ అ బ్రిడ్జ్ టేబుల్ టు రిజాల్వ్ ద అంబిగ్విటీ. సో మీరు ఇలా ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేస్తారు అనుకోండి, వాడికి సరిపోతుంది, ఇంతకు మించి ఎక్కువ. సో to resolve the many to many relationship, we can create a bridge table, okay, to resolve the ambiguity. So it contains unique keys. So ఇక్కడ ఏముంటుంది చూడండి, ఇక్కడ ఏం చెప్తున్నాం, it contains unique keys linking the many to many tables. So Power BI ensures relationships are properly set up with a cross filter and cardinality. DAX functions treated composite model and use many to many scenarios. With that we can avoid the duplicates. Okay, so that's how the answer, it's very important. So that is a many to many. With this, that's all. So these are all the important, very very important interview questions. So apart from this, they are not going to be asked any question from the Power BI. Only these are the questions. Okay, you just try to practice this 26 questions, you can crack the job in the first interview itself. Okay, so just to focus on this important interview questions. If you don't understand, try to ask me, I'll explain you in the 1000 times or 200 times. Okay, so to the many times I'll explain you, just don't by heart it. If you don't understand it, don't hesitate. Okay, nobody knows everything, so you are going to be learn. So if you are going to be stay calm, so you are going to be see in a your mindset is going to be in a still in a dumb way, you are not going to be improve your knowledge. Okay, so you have to don't hesitate to ask any kind of simple things also. Just try to practice it. And even if you don't know about, so even if you are hesitating to ask something like this, what you have to do, you have to do just go through somewhere like YouTube. Just even if you don't understand one word, I just copied the word and just explain me what is this kind of thing is doing, or like in Power BI, or you can go to Chat GPT and paste it. So how many ways we can understand it? So the better way to understand, see guys, if you don't understand anything, let's say what I do first, in case if I'm very new to that, let's say I'm just learning some LLM, or like I just want to trying to improving myself in in a genetic AI and agentic AI. So what I'll do first basically. So what I'll do means, but let's say if I want to understand what is LLM. So let's say I just want to understand this full form of not the full form, just I want to understand LLM model. So instead of reading it, what I'll do, I don't read all the stuff here like this. It's means my mind is, I've fixed the mind is to go to the images so that I can grab it very quickly. So I can go here and I can see one image so that I can able to I can grab, my mind will grab some more things very quickly rather than reading it. So here see the voice and text and images which will bring it, and so here is exploring the large language models, and it will going to be like questioning, answering, and sentiment analysis and image comparison. So likewise it is going to do it. So with this image I can understand almost 50% of the stuff. See what I'll do, I don't read it. So even if you are, for example, let's say you don't understand something like what is like relationship, let's say relationship in Power BI. Just type it. Just instead of going to the all reading mode, so just try to first to use this image mode. Try to understand it. Okay, so what he's doing it. Let's say take one basic thing and try to understand. Okay, it is the meaning of joining some table. So he's doing some kind of is making it. Even if you are very fresh, even you don't know Power BI, so you can understand that he's connecting. There is a tables are there. There is a connection is there. So that is how the basic things it is happening. So that's how you can adjust your time, or you can save some of the time. Like even if you are reading something like this, it will take half an hour or 20 minutes, so you can grab all the things within 10 minutes. So that's how I'll do it, like in the simple way of creating images and seeing that images I can able to learn it. So by seeing that images I can able to understand it. But before going to that, at least I try to understand the definition. So from here I try to understand the definition. So if still I don't understand, just immediately go to the images and I'll refer some images. So likewise you have to do it. So even if you are not a person who read mostly, you can go through these, or like you are a person, you are not interested to reading it, so you just go to YouTube and paste that whatever comes to your mind, and just type it and just search for it. Okay, so everything is available, everything is free, and you can use the chat GPT or copilot or everything. The many sources are available, you can use it. Okay, so maybe most of the things that you can get. So that's all about for today. It's more than 2 hours.